Imposter syndrome is a victim mentality infection in your mind, body, and spirit. As an empath, you are especially susceptible to being infected by others' feelings and behaviors. You're especially susceptible to contracting social contagions like victim mentality and fear about putting yourself out there. What do we do about it? We're going to talk about it. I'm Sensei Victoria Whitfield from strategicmeditation.com. I am a strategic coach, a business coach, and Reiki master teacher. I help empathic, self-employed people increase their energy so that they can increase their income and impact. If that speaks to you, make sure that you subscribe here on YouTube or hop on the email list. All of the links are listed in the description. And so this is the first of a few episodes exploring Chapter 5 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, which is the sequel to his classic Think and Grow Rich, if you've heard of it. And I go around as a strategic coach and Reiki master for business owners, leading meditations. And whenever I go out to do guided meditations, I've been doing more and more of them in person locally here in New Jersey. I'm actually coming to you from my office. So feel free to reach out if you would like to schedule a private session. But as I go out and do these guided meditations, I attract, just naturally because of the law of attraction, other self-employed individuals who really value their wellness, who value their energy, and want to really optimize that so they can increase their impact in the world and in their industry. And like 9 times out of 10, I was going to say a lot of the time, but no. 9 times out of 10, when you're talking to self-employed people or professionals who you may not be self-employed, but you are definitely trying your best to put yourself out there in a new way, right? Entrepreneur means entreprendre, to start, right? You're trying to start something new in your career. 9 times out of 10, we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome and being an empath. Just the two always happen, right? Over 15 years that I've been doing this full time, traveling, leading meditations for groups of professionals locally around the country and in different countries around the world, always the empath talk and the imposter syndrome talk always comes up. And so let's tackle this. Because over the last 15 years being in this industry, wellness, personal growth and development coaching, holistic industries, the term imposter syndrome has become an increasing buzzword within our community of something that people really suffer from. And that's where you're afraid to put yourself out there in a new way, whether it be in business or in your career or even romantically, but you're afraid to put yourself out there in a new way because you're worried that they're going to see your past or see that who you were is not who you are, where you're going is not necessarily where you've been, and that difference is a source of embarrassment, shame, anxiety, something that you're afraid of being judged about. And so this video, this discussion, this energy that I'm sending to you, right? So send a Seiki for all of my Reiki practitioners, is to help you release attachment to that imposter syndrome. Because before it was imposter syndrome, it was called performance anxiety, right? And performance anxiety is when you're getting ready to do something and you start to freak out. Like, your armpits start to sweat, your hands get sweaty, you start catastrophizing in your mind or getting worried and all worked up about, how is it going to go? And that came out of the entertainment industry, because before you hit the stage, the adrenaline rush always comes. right? So be kind to yourself. If you have that imposter syndrome, if you have that performance anxiety, that's perfectly normal. This is perfectly normal, right? This is your body, as we understand performance anxiety, is your body preparing to perform. You're getting into go mode, right? It's go time. Of course you need that extra energy. But the problem with imposter syndrome is that it turns that event, that natural surge of adrenaline for an output, for a risk, right? For you putting yourself out there in a new way, that natural surge of energy that you can use, right? Any actor, performer, singer, dancer, right, athlete wants that surge so that they can go and push things to the next level and really call on more of themselves because of all of that energy surge. But the problem with imposter syndrome is that it takes it from that natural wave of woo adrenaline, and you know it's going to subside because it's a natural just ebb and flow that happens episodically, whereas imposter syndrome syndromizes it. So that instead of it being a temporary, okay, if I just get over this wave, right? If I could just surf and catch this wave, woo, I'm gonna fly, right? I'm gonna do an amazing job with all this extra energy supporting me. No, it turns it into a syndrome where there's no end to the wave of anxiety that you're trying to pedal on, right? You can't catch that wave because it turns it into a syndrome. That over time warps your mentality, your mental fixed point, your overall psychological outlook is expecting danger, expecting things to be worried about, expecting fear. Now be kind to yourself if you've caught this social contagion of imposter syndrome off of podcasts, off of Instagram posts, TikToks, off of masterminds, live events, networking groups, off of books, right? Off of so many social contexts where people are hyping up and creating traumatized community around, yeah, I have imposter syndrome. Does anyone else have it too? Be kind to yourself. That is a social contagion. And when I say contagion, I mean like, achoo, right? All of the nasty cooties of anxiety, expecting disaster, fear, negativity, shame, and embarrassment, all of that you breathe in and you catch into your emotional immune system. As an empath, we have weakened emotional immune systems. Have you ever heard it put this way, right? Where we really soak it up. We soak up others' negative, contagious behaviors, as well as positive, but 9 times out of 10, what we remember is the negativity, the bad stuff, the pain, the sabotage, and the frustration. And so with that in mind, I want to now bring in our reading from Outwitting the Devil, The Secrets of Freedom and Success by Napoleon Hill, where we're in this reading, he's going to outline what then is the antidote, right? So the same way that if you're out and about and you're around sick people, right? They're coughing, like physically sick. Maybe they have a cold or recently had something, they're like, or blowing their nose, etc. And then when you get home, you start to feel a little something in your throat. What do you do to bolster your immune system, right? To help in a healthy and natural way, spur on processing through whatever contagion, right? Whatever cootie you picked up along the way, right? You may take vitamin C or a zinc pill before bed. You may take echinacea or elderberry, right? You may have warm tea, right? And all the different home remedies that you may go through to support your natural immune system to be the antidote that promotes your greater health. What would you embrace then if you picked up a social contagion, such as imposter syndrome, that has planted seeds of victim mentality where if I go out, I will be victimized. I will be found out as an imposter. I will be victimized. That expectation rather than a victor mentality where you go out and you're like, if I go out, they're going to find out just how awesome I am. This is so easy. People won't be able to find me unless I come out and show them who I am and what I got. And I'm awesome, and I know that. And my track record speaks for itself that I'm awesome. Also, what I'm about to do is going to be awesome as well. Why do we have that victim mentality where we expect disaster when we go to risk ourselves? And how can we overcome it? In a word, it is embracing failure. Failing forward, not being failure averse. You got to get messy. If you're going to swim, you got to get in the water and just start paddling, right? Dive in. But let's get to the reading so we can hear it in Napoleon Hill's words. And again, remember in this book, if you haven't been following my channel as I'm reading through chapter by chapter, this book is him interviewing the devil of the angel and the devil on his shoulder, right? That inner self-saboteur, our shadow that stops us from moving forward. And here at this point in their conversation between him and his inner devil on his shoulder, they're talking about what is the inner saboteurs, the inner devil's tricks to knock us off track and cause us to lose our way, to lose our confidence. Let's read. Napoleon Hill says, tell me some of your other tricks with which you cause people to drift, right? Be directionless and unsuccessful. Cause people to drift in life. The devil on his shoulder responds, one of my most effective devices is failure. The majority of people begin to drift as soon as they meet with opposition, and not 1 out of 10,000 will keep on trying after failing 2 to 3 times. Hill responds, so it is your business to induce people to fail whenever you can, is that correct? Devil on his shoulder responds, you have it right. Failure breaks down one's morale, destroys self-confidence, subdues enthusiasm, dulls imagination, and drives away definiteness of purpose. Without these 5 qualities, no one can permanently succeed in any undertaking. The world has produced thousands of inventors with the ability superior to that of the late Thomas A. Edison. But these men have never been heard of, while the name of Edison will go marching on because Edison converted failure into a stepping stone to achievement, while the others used it as an alibi for not producing results. Hill says, is the capacity to surmount failure without being discouraged one of Henry Ford's chief assets? The devil on his shoulder responds, yes, as this same quality is the chief asset of every man who attains outstanding success in any calling. So Hill responds, that statement covers lots of territory. Do you not wish to modify it or tone it down a bit? The devil responds, no modification is necessary because the claim is none too broad. Search accurately into the lives of men and women who achieve enduring success, and you will find without exception that their success has been in exact proportion to the extent that they have surmounted failure. The life of every successful person loudly acclaims that which every true philosopher knows. Quote, every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success, end quote. But the seed will not germinate and grow under the influence of a drifter. It springs to life only when it is in the hands of one who recognizes that most failures are only temporary defeat and who never under any circumstances accepts defeat as an excuse for drifting. Hill responds, if I understand you correctly, you claim there is virtue in failure? That does not seem reasonable. Why do you try to induce people to fail if there's virtue in failure? The devil on his shoulder responds, there is no inconsistency in my claims. The appearance of inconsistency is due to your lack of understanding. Failure is a virtue only when it does not lead one to quit trying and begin drifting. I induce as many people as I can to fail as often as possible for the reason that not 1 out of 10,000 will keep on trying after failing 2 to 3 times. I'm not concerned about the few who convert failures into stepping stones because they belong to my opposition. Anyway, they are the non-drifters and therefore they are beyond my reach. Tying this back to this victim mentality contagion of imposter syndrome infecting us, of like, oh no, I have imposter syndrome, so that's my excuse for not putting myself out there. That's why, right? It gives you an alibi, as I said, an alibi. So, oh, I don't, I'm off the hook. I don't have to risk it. Whereas that is part of the game. That is in the virus, the mind virus that imposter syndrome is, that social contagion that you're taking in of like, I can get off the hook, therefore I will be off the hook and push it further back to a later time, putting myself out there, right? I'm going to push it further back, or owning my power. I'm going to push it farther back because I can get off the hook. But what if the exact antidote for imposter syndrome is actually going and doing the very thing you're afraid of? Go try, go fail. And not just once, not just twice, not just 3 times, but over and over and over and over and over and over again until you get it. Pursuing the experience, pursuing that, that anxiety, right? That performance anxiety. Go get it. Go pursue the risk, the failure, the mess up, right? The rejection, the misunderstanding. Going and pursuing that is actually the key to success, that there's virtue in failure, to quote them both very specifically, because it's those who make it, they can walk through the fire that is a purifying fire of temporary defeat. On the other side is victory. If you want to get out from under that victim mentality of imposter syndrome, or maybe you're watching this for someone that you love, right? Or someone that you work with, send it to them, tag them, right? Forward this on. But if you want to get out from under imposter syndrome holding you back, you have got to do the thing you're afraid of and go mess it up multiple times, because you are never losing. You're always learning. Be kind to yourself. The information that you get from the failed attempt is everything. It's everything. Do you not know that that is precisely how AI operates? It fails at an extremely rapid rate, to the point of absolute deduction of everything that is failure, so that there's only success left. And that's why AI is skyrocketing, is because it's basically the absence of fear of things not working out, of making mistakes. We will talk to ChatGPT and all these different GPTs and AIs, even though we know they hallucinate, because they're more accurate or more helpful, or they speed up the process more often than not. Why can't that permission be given to you as well. Why can't we as individuals give ourselves that same grace of like, I know I'm not going to do it perfect, but if I do it, I will get better at doing it because I tried, right? Be kind to yourself. The antidote to imposter syndrome is walking through the failure, the failed attempt. On the other side is the success, the breakthrough, right? You can have so many failed relationships, so many different tries, but when you keep trying, eventually you will make it to the one person who's yours. Believe it, right? The same with business. You can keep attempting and attempting and attempting to sell your product, to put your offers out there, and behind every no, you keep going, because when you go for no, eventually you will find the yes. It's the iterative process. With that, let's take a look at the card of the day, 6 of Air, Angel Tarot card 6 of Air. Things are looking up. The end of a difficult situation. Taking a trip. I'll read to you. Things are looking up and the worst is now behind you. There's finally light at the end of the tunnel and stress and strain fade from your life. The winds of change are blowing and it's a favorable wind. This is a good time for making changes in your career, home, or your outlook. Additional meanings of this card: a trip, the end of a depression or an illness, the resolution of conflict, leaving and moving on. So this card is coming to us right side up. So it's an affirmation, which means you already know this. It just needs to be highlighted, right, and bold-faced. That you feel it this day and this week. You feel it that, ooh, there's a positive shift. The winds of change are blowing. Things are looking up. Things are looking up, right? Ride that wave of positivity. Lady Luck is on your side this time. 6 means progress, by the way. Air means the mind. So you're having a progressive mindset of, you know what? Things are getting better. Things are progressing. I think it. I see it. I believe it. I'm imagining it. I'm understanding that things are getting better. Move with that. Get out from under the victim mentality of the past. That's behind you. Get out from under the imposter syndrome of the past. That's behind you. Come back to the reality of performance anxiety. And you know what? Use that adrenaline rush, right? Was it yesterday? I did several pounds over my 1 rep max for deadlifts. And I had to psych myself up and use it like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but here we go, right? And with that extra, I was able to pull more. Why? Because I had that extra energy, that extra gas in the tank to play with. Use it. What if the anxiety that you have in the moment is a gift to put NOS in the tank and really send you forward rather than bury you and overwhelm? Now, a great way to fight the fire of a mental contagion, right? A imposter syndrome, victim mentality. You have to fight the fire of a thought and emotional issue with a thought and emotional exercise, and that is called meditation. But we want to do meditation strategically. So you can meditate in general, and I'm introducing people as I'm going and leading in-person guided meditations now locally. You can do it in general for relaxation, but the real power is when you use it strategically as a tool to topple a targeted obstacle or issue for you. In this case, we are going to do a strategic meditation that is going to topple and attack the obstacle of that victim mentality, that imposter syndrome infection in your mind. And so go ahead and log on to bevisionarymovement.com as a member, where you can start your 7-day trial today to access the meditation of the day. There's a pinned post that says your meditation tracker of the month for August is what the time that we are recording this video. And the meditation you're going to do is let go of the past and rise up. You're going to type that in the search bar at the top of your screen or the app if you downloaded it. Let go of the past and rise up. It is 21 minutes per day. And again, I want you to do this strategic meditation. I want you to do this in a focused way where you are sitting with the awareness of your imposter syndrome. You're sitting with the awareness of your victim mentality. You bring that in consciously to then go meditate, whether it's in the early morning or at lunch or before bed, but you're going to use the meditation to breathe and release all of that negativity out of your mind, out of your body. Reprogram your brain for success, right? Reprogram yourself for being able to surmount failure, not be afraid of it. You're going to go through it and get all of the learning and the lessons that is there uniquely for you so that you can be the best version of yourself. Now, we've come to the end of this video. Woo, 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 woo. Thank you. If you've done that, make sure that you comment below what comes up for you hearing all this. I'm curious to see, do you believe that imposter syndrome is a social contagion? Like, do you believe that? I'm curious. Like, how did you or how did you see others catch imposter syndrome? And if you're now at the end of the video and thinking, I have more questions though, Victoria, and it's not really something I would want to comment publicly on, and it's more than just an email, make sure that you go to talkwithvictoria.com or send me a text 732-903-8573 so that we can set up a one-on-one time to talk, and I'm happy to support you in shifting your energy so that you can increase your income and impact. Mwah. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. And remember, you do not have to lose your glow as you grow in life and business. Bye for now.